Right, so we'll go ahead and settle in, finding our seated mountain pose. Let's be just taking a minute to really ground into this pose. So feeling the feet, all four corners of the feet grounding in to the floor beneath you. Gently engaging through the legs, through the spine, shoulders dropping away from the ears. We're upright, but not stiff or forced. And then as we begin, maybe softening the gaze or closing the eyes, we'll just take a moment to arrive in our bodies as we begin. Just taking a moment, as usual, to do a quick little scan, starting from the crown of your head, moving down the body all the way down to the tips of your toes. Noticing without the need to judge any sensations that are present in your body today. Observing what it feels like to be living in your skin in this moment. With each breath in, inviting space into your body. With each exhale, letting your body relax. Just letting yourself feel whatever you're feeling. Experiencing each sensation. Or maybe you're not feeling any sensations. That's fine too. Just noticing and observing that. We'll do a short breathing exercise with an extended exhale to help us further calm before we begin the physical practice. So we'll inhale naturally through the nose. And then on the exhale, pursing your lips and exhaling through the mouth like you're blowing out through a straw. Following the exhale all the way to the end. And then inhaling through the nose. And exhale, blowing out through that straw. And continuing like this, noticing how your exhale is naturally extended when you breathe out like this. Bringing a sense of calm and relaxation to the nervous system. Inhaling, creating space. Exhale, relaxation and calm. And this is a practice you can do anytime that you want to cultivate a sense of calming and slow the heart rate. It helps take us out of that fight or flight response. And returning when you're ready, just back to the natural rhythm of the breath in and out through the nose. And Bringing your palms together, resting in front of your heart, or one hand over top of the other over your heart. Maybe setting an intention for your practice today, something you'd like to focus on or keep in mind. And as I always remind you, taking care to listen to your body, doing what feels good for you today and leaving the rest if you need to. When you're ready, releasing the hands to rest down on your thighs, letting the eyes flutter back open, bringing your awareness back into the space around you. We'll start with just some movements of the shoulders. So beginning to gently roll the shoulders backwards, taking it nice and slow and really observing each little sensation. And then switching directions, rolling the shoulders forward. And releasing. Now lifting the arms out to the side, palms facing forward. And we'll flip the palms backwards and forwards. We're engaging all the muscles, the arms and shoulders. And now bringing the fingertips to the tips of your shoulders, and we'll alternate shoulder rolls backwards. So one arm at a time, like you're doing backstroke. And you may notice some engagement of your core and torso, letting your body flow with the movements. And back in the other direction. And releasing the arms back down by your sides, actually. And on an inhale, we'll scrunch the shoulders up and contract the muscles of your face, making a prune face. And exhale, sighing it out, relaxing everything. Do that a few more times. Inhale, lifting the shoulders, contracting all the facial muscles. And sighing it out, finding release. Do that 2 more times. And now maybe making some circles with your jaw. It's a place I carry a lot of tension myself. I think that's pretty common. And then letting the jaw just hang open. And releasing. So we'll begin to drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. And then maybe cradling the head with the hand if that feels good. And then maybe sending the other arm out to the side, palm facing forward. And breathing into the side of your body, feeling the line of energy from the tips of your left fingers all the way up the side of your body. And release. And switching sides, so dropping left ear to the left shoulder. And then finding those options with the arms. Maybe noticing the differences between the sides. The side feels a bit tighter for me. And just trying to breathe into that space. And when you're ready, releasing, coming back to center. And we'll just gently roll the head from shoulder to shoulder, bringing the chin towards the chest. And gently rolling side to side, or if it's comfortable, maybe doing a full rotation of the neck, only if your neck is okay with it. And when you're ready, releasing back to center. We'll lift the arms up in front of you and we'll just flex and bend the wrists. And then maybe clasping the hands and doing a little wave motion, the hands and wrists. And then maybe clasping the hands and rolling the wrists in any sort of motion that feels good for you. And then giving the hands a little shake, one at a time or both. And releasing the hands back to rest on your thigh. We'll come into our seated twist. So taking the right hand and either grabbing the chair or your hip. We'll bring the left hand to the right knee and gently twist to the right. And if you'd like a little bit more head and neck movement, you can maybe begin to gently look from one shoulder to the other while we're in the twist. So only the head and neck are moving. Our bodies are staying firm and strong in this twisted position. And releasing from that twist. And clasping the hands, sliding a little bit forward in the chair. Clasping the hands behind your back and gently arching the back. So I'm just turning a little so you can see. And maybe sending the gaze slightly up. Just breathing into the front of your body. And releasing the arms. And we'll come back into the twist on the other side. So the hand can either grab the chair or the hip. Right arm comes to left knee. We'll gently twist to the left. And again, if it feels comfortable for you and you want to take some movements of the head and neck, just shifting the gaze from shoulder to shoulder, finding your own rhythm using your breath. And the core and the torso are still zipped up nice and tight. And releasing from the twist, coming back to center. And maybe once again clasping the hands behind, arching the back slightly. Taking a few breaths into the chest. And then releasing the arms. Hands resting on the thighs, and we'll come into our cat and cow movement. So taking a natural inhale in the center, and then as you exhale, sliding the hands forward toward the knees, or rounding the spine towards the back of the chair. Inhale, arching the spine, opening the chest, and maybe lifting the gaze. And just moving back and forth, letting your breath be your guide. And you can continue with the dynamic movement, but maybe next time you come into the cat stretch with the rounded spine, holding for a few breaths. Feeling maybe a sense of openness in the upper back and the shoulder area. And then on your next inhale, sliding back up into cat, and we'll hold there for a couple of breaths. Chest and shoulders are open. The gaze is slightly lifted. And one more inhale here. And releasing back to a neutral spine on your next exhale. This is starting to move down into the hips and the legs. Sorry you can't actually see my feet, but we're going to heel toe our feet open and close. And so you can go kind of as wide or not as you want. Just loosening up these joints. Just once more, and then we're going to walk our feet all the way in or as close together as they can be. And we'll just butterfly out the legs.
Releasing that movement, walking the feet back out about a distance apart.
And we'll extend the right leg, and you can either have the foot off the floor or resting on the floor. We'll just point and flex the foot. Noticing as you flex the foot, maybe a stretch in the hamstring. And then rolling the ankle in one direction and back in the other direction. And then letting the foot come back to the floor and switching legs, extending the left leg. And I should have said, you can always grab the chair or put the hands on your hips, whatever feels more stable for you. Just pointing and flexing the left foot. Engaging the muscles of the lower leg and ankles. And then rolling in one direction. And then back in the other direction. And letting the foot rest back on the floor. So walking the feet out, maybe just a little bit wider than your hips. We'll come into our half forward fold. So taking an inhale, and on your next exhale, coming down onto the forearms. Resting the forearms on your thighs. And then maybe touching the tips of your fingers together. Feeling the flow of energy from one side of your body to the next. And in this half fold, our backs are more or less flat, not rounding, so we're hinged from the hips. And with each breath, maybe noticing a sense of openness in the lower back. And if you'd like, you can fold all the way forward, letting the arms drop down by the sides of your legs and letting your head hang. Or you can remain in the half fold. And wherever you are, beginning to walk back up the legs. Back to a neutral spine, back to that seated mountain. And we'll do a little arm flow. This is one that we do a lot, but I really like it. I feel tight in my shoulders a lot of the times, and I think it helps open things up a little bit. So bring the arms down by the sides. We'll inhale, lifting the palms up about halfway, and then exhale, flipping the palms, floating the arms back down. Now we'll come up to the side, so flipping the palms upwards, inhaling the arms out to the side. Exhale, flipping the palms, floating the arms down. And so we'll keep moving, flowing with our own breath. We all have different bodies, different lungs, so just finding the rhythm that works for you and letting the movements follow the breath all the way in and all the way out. And if you like, if your range of motion allows it, you can lift the arms higher, maybe even all the way up by your ears. Just seeing what your body's telling you today. Just having a sense of the arms floating fluidly. And the next time your arms come down, we'll release them back to the legs. And now extending the hand with the palm flexed, we'll just stretch out the biceps a little bit. So grabbing the fingers, stretching out underside of the hand. And then switching the sides, flexing the wrist, stretching the arm. And releasing. And now we'll walk the feet back out, prepping for our goddess position. So finding a comfortable spot in the chair. Feet are wide, toes are about 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Feel a sense of grounding through the center of your body, being supported by the chair. As you inhale, we'll bring our arms up to these goalpost position or cactus arms. And then we'll begin flowing with the breath. So as you inhale, bringing the arms together, and exhale, sending them back out to the sides. And just moving with the breath. And if it feels good for you, you can also start to send the head up and down. So as the arms comes in, the chin comes towards the chest. As the arms come out, the gaze lifts. So being mindful of the head and neck. Then the next time the arms open and the gaze lifts, we'll just hold there for a couple of breaths. Again, feeling that space, that openness in the chest. And on your next inhale, dropping the chin to the chest, maybe clasping the hands behind the head, adding a little bit more weight, and relaxing in the neck. And when you're ready, releasing the arms and releasing the legs, coming back to our seated mountain. And we'll take just a few hip circles to reset. So just shifting the weight back and forth and rotating the torso in one direction. And then back in the other direction. And then coming back to reset in seated mountain. It's been a few weeks since we've done a warrior one, so we'll take that today. And so turning your body to the right in your chair so that you're seated facing the right. And I'm actually going to turn my chair so that you can see the front of me better. So we're sitting sideways in the chair. And as always, you can just stay seated and leave the legs if they don't feel good for you today. But grabbing the back of the chair with your hands and shift to the side and send the leg out behind you, the leg that's on the outside. The foot is slightly turned out, so you're feeling a nice stretch along the quads and the hip flexor. And then the front toes are pointed to the side. And so keeping this hand on the back of the chair for stability, with the other arm will flow. So as we inhale, lifting the arm up by the ear, and exhale, sweeping the arm back behind and maybe folding forward over the front leg. And then moving back and forth with the breath. And then next time your arm comes up by the ear, just holding for a few breaths here. Feeling the legs strongly rooted down into the floor. And seeing if you can relax any areas that you might be holding tension. And releasing the arm. And releasing the leg. And coming back to center. Working your way back to center. And we'll take another one of those half forward folds before we move to the other side. So inhaling, and then as you exhale, hinging from the hips, coming down either onto the forearms or maybe folding all the way forward. And then walking your way back up to seated. And we'll switch sides. So this time, turning to the left in your chair. The right hand is, or the left hand, sorry, is grabbing the back of your chair for some stability. We'll scoot the hip out to the side, sending the right leg back behind, slightly turned out in the toes. Hips are squared towards the front leg. And then we'll flow. So inhale, lifting the arm. And exhale, sweeping it back maybe folding towards the front, and then moving with the breath. And again, letting the breath guide the movement. So following your inhale and exhale all the way to the end. And then holding the arm up for a few breaths, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, and relaxing any areas where you might be holding tension. And releasing the arm, and then releasing the legs, coming back to center. And we'll do a few more of the hip circles, or whatever motion feels good to recover and reset from that pose, deep hip opener. And back in the other direction if you're not already. And then once again, resetting in our seated mountain pose. So we're just going to scoot a little bit forward in the chair if you're not already there. And the hands can be on the hips or on the chair. We're just going to bicycle out the right leg. So bending it in towards you and then extending it out. So using the muscles of your core to support your spine. And then maybe pedaling in the other direction for a few rotations. And we'll come into our seated pigeon on this side. So either extending the leg out on the floor and rolling onto the outer edge of the right foot, or grabbing the foot and crossing it over the knee. And from here, we'll gently hinge forward from the hip, stopping at the first little whisper of sensation. You want to feel a small amount of sensation, but never pain. And rising back up to seated. And we're going to do a twist from here in our seated pigeon. So bringing the left arm to the right knee, and if you're on the floor, it can just be wherever on the right leg it falls. We'll just twist gently to the right. And releasing, coming back to center, releasing right leg. Keep windshield wipering the feet from side to side. And then we'll do that same sequence on the left side. So using the chair for support, bicycling out the left leg. Bending and straightening. And then maybe in the other direction. And keeping that core engaged, helping support the spine. And then we'll come into seated pigeon. So extending the foot, rolling out onto the outer edge, or picking up the foot and placing it over the knee. We'll inhale and then exhale to hinge forward. Breathing into the tightness or sensation. And then on your next inhale, rising back upright. And then we'll find that twist on the other side. So bringing the right hand to the left leg and gently twisting to the left. Breathing here. And returning back to center, releasing from the twist, releasing the leg. Maybe once again doing those windshield wipers. And we'll begin now to prepare for our seated Shavasana. And I do have a little bit of a longer meditation practice for us today. So if you're not able to stay for all of it, feel free to drop off whenever you need to. Taking any last movements and then settling in to a comfortable seated position. A place that you'll be comfortable for about the next 10 to 12 minutes. And once you've found your comfortable seat, finding stillness, letting the gaze begin to soften, and maybe closing the eyes. Gently drawing the focus inwards. And for our meditation today, we'll be doing a body scan with the intention of becoming more aware of sensations in the body and finding comfort in areas that may be uncomfortable. So when we're feeling poorly, maybe physically or emotionally, we often make ourselves feel worse by the stories that we tell ourselves in our minds. We often tell ourselves that we'll always feel this way. We might worry about how long these unpleasant feelings might last. But in reality, the sensations of pain or discomfort are always changing. It's like a stream. It's always moving and flowing. So rather than naming our experience as pain or discomfort, and thinking we know everything about it and it will always be the same, we can become curious about our actual experience in the moment. We can try to let go of our idea of pain as our enemy and our tendency to reject it and push it away, and begin to explore what it might have to teach us. So as you sit in your chair, feel your connection to the earth, your feet on the floor, the back of your body supported by the chair. Drawing your attention to your breath, noticing the inhale and exhale, in and out. Notice how it's always changing, always moving, just like waves on the ocean. You may notice your belly or chest moving with the breath, up and down, in and out, up and down, and in and out. Our breaths are always changing, always moving, just like the waves on the ocean. Even though we're always breathing, no one breath is ever repeated. Each one is unique, and you'll never experience it again, and you've never experienced it before. Notice how the breath is always moving and changing. So bring to your mind a part of your body that's feeling okay right now. Maybe even feeling good. A part of your body that's not hurting, in pain, or uncomfortable. Notice what that feeling of being okay feels like. Breathe into and out of that okay feeling part of your body. Even if sometimes one part of our body is hurting or not well, there's usually at least one part of the body that's feeling okay. So it can be useful to notice that that's present. We're not only our pain or our illness. Sometimes we may think that pain is all there is, and we focus on that, ignoring everything else. We're much more than this. So notice as many places in the body as you can that are feeling okay right now, maybe even feeling good. Maybe they're feeling relaxed, calm, or at ease. Now bringing your attention to a part or parts of your body that aren't feeling so well. See if you can find softness around these feelings rather than hardening against them. Be open to them. Let them in and give them space. Breathing in deeply and breathing out slowly. Breathing in deeply and breathing out slowly. You may experiment with putting your attention to areas that are feeling okay in your body, and then switching to areas that are feeling pain or discomfort. Shifting your attention back and forth. Feeling the part that feels okay, and then feeling the part that's in discomfort. And by doing this, reminding ourselves that we are not just our pain. We can become curious about this experience of pain and discomfort, feeling how this discomfort, pain is not solid or permanent, just like the breath, it's always changing. Notice if your feelings of pain may come in surges or waves, just like the breath. Checking in to see if you're viewing this pain as an enemy, as something bad, something to resist, and try to let that go. Seeing if you can open to it with a sense of curiosity and interest. What does it feel like now? And now? And now? And bringing the attention back again to the okay feeling parts of your body, the good feeling parts of your body. Noticing what they feel like. Feeling the breath moving in and out. Expanding your awareness throughout your whole body. Creating space with each breath in and letting go into the support of the earth with each breath out. And now gently begin to broaden your awareness. Maybe making some gentle movements, be stretching. And when you're ready, bringing your hands either resting in front of your heart in a prayer position, or one hand resting on top of the other over your heart. It's very courageous to be able to explore your pain and discomfort in this way. Picture yourself as a peaceful warrior, brave enough to encounter something that can be quite difficult to deal with. And instead of making it our enemy, turning it into a friend in our mind. Give yourself a mental big hug to honor yourself in your practice today. Maybe even gently smiling to yourself. And maybe taking forward some of this practice into your day-to-day life, knowing that we can be in touch with the well-being in our body, even when other areas are in a place of discomfort. Thank you for sharing your practice today. Namaste.